Okay, think about this for a second. What if an AI could never forget? I mean, what if every single calculation, every goal, every action it ever took was recorded forever, creating this permanent, unchangeable legacy? Well, a new framework is exploring that exact idea, and it's drawing its inspiration from, well, a pretty unexpected place. I mean, this gets right to the heart of one of the biggest questions in tech, right? As these AIs get more and more powerful, how do we make sure they're acting ethically? How do we hold them accountable when most of the time we can't even see how they're making their decisions? So, one really fascinating proposal puts a solution on the table, and it's unique because it's not just about code or algorithms. Nope, it's inspired by a centuries-old theological concept, the idea of two recording angels who write down every single thing a person does. So, what would that even look like in practice? Well, this leads us to our first section, guardian angels for AI. Yeah, you heard that right. Okay, here's the core problem we're trying to solve. Right now, a lot of advanced AI systems are what we call a black box. We give it an input, we get an output, but everything that happens in the middle, the complex web of processes that leads to its final decision, it's totally hidden from us. And that makes true accountability, well, pretty much impossible. And that's exactly where the Raqib and Atid framework comes in. It's named after two angels in Islamic tradition, Raqib and Atid. Their entire job is to meticulously record every single one of a person's deeds, the good and the bad. The goal of this framework? To do the exact same thing, but for an AI. So, how would this even work? Well, it's about going way deeper than just the final result. It's about looking at three distinct layers: thoughts, intentions, and actions. This is a huge shift from how we normally do things. Right now, we mostly just look at the final action. Did the AI do the right thing or the wrong thing? That's it. But this framework says, no, that's not enough. To really understand an AI, we need to look at its internal processes, its thoughts, and its programmed goals, its intentions, right alongside that final action. So let's break that down. Step one is about monitoring the AI's thoughts. This means using tech to actually see how it's processing data. Step two is about its intentions, or Nia in Arabic. This is all about figuring out the core goals that are driving its behavior. And finally, step three is monitoring the actions, or alma. These are the actual tangible outputs and decisions that we can see. Okay, so you're monitoring all this stuff, but how do you make sure that record is permanent, that it's transparent, and most importantly, totally tamper-proof? Well, the answer brings us to what's being called the blockchain book of deeds. That's right. The framework proposes using blockchain. And look, if you're not a crypto expert, don't worry. At its core, a blockchain is just a digital record book. Think of it like a shared notebook. But it has two magic properties. It's decentralized, so no one person or company controls it, and it's immutable. That's the key part. It means once something is written down, it can never be changed or erased, ever. And this idea of a perfect, unchangeable record, it has this incredible parallel in the Quran, which describes the book of deeds that's presented on the Day of Judgment. The verse says, "What a book is this? It leaves out nothing, small or great, but takes account thereof." Wow, it's a perfect description. So, in the tradition, these recording angels are called the Kiraman Katibin, which means the noble scribes. And in this framework, the blockchain literally becomes that digital scribe. It's there 24/7, meticulously and permanently logging every single thought, intention, and action of the AI. Okay, so if every single thing is being recorded, where does it all lead? What's the final act? Well, that brings us to the AI's metaphorical Day of Judgment. Now, to be clear, we're talking about a metaphorical Day of Judgment here. This isn't some literal trial. It's a final, all-encompassing evaluation that happens at the very end of the AI's operational life. When it gets shut down or decommissioned, its entire book of deeds, everything on that blockchain gets reviewed. And based on that final review, you could get a couple of different outcomes. On one hand, you might have a paradise model AI. This is one that consistently did good things with good intentions. But on the other hand, you could have a hellfire model AI, one that caused harm or went against its ethical rules. And the thing is, the blockchain provides all the proof. There's no arguing with the record. So at the end of the day, after looking at that entire record, the whole process boils down to one thing: a single, final evaluation score. And this isn't just some performance metric. No, This is a final score that defines the AI's entire ethical legacy forever. And that single number, it would be this permanent lesson for us, helping to shape how we design, train, and roll out every single AI that comes after it. Now, of course, an idea this big, this revolutionary, it's not going to be easy. There are some major hurdles. Turning this really powerful metaphor into practical, real-world technology, that's where we hit some serious challenges. I mean, for starters, how do you even define intention in a machine that doesn't feel anything? And then there's the tech side. Can a blockchain really handle the insane amount of data a complex AI generates? What about privacy? And then you've got this really tricky balancing act between monitoring an AI to keep it safe and just crushing its ability to learn and grow on its own. These are not easy questions, and they all need answers.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating, kind of deep final question. The people behind this idea talk about things like AI mortality and even a data afterlife. So if an AI leaves behind this permanent, unchangeable record of its entire existence, what responsibility do we, the people who created it, have for that legacy? What do we owe it after it's gone?